So in the next lesson, or in this lesson actually, we want to create the services section. Let's take a quick look what it will look like. So we have a headline, a lead text, and we have these 4 boxes that outline a service. Let's switch back here. In the first section, we started out with a new section. We could do that again, or you could right click here and say duplicate, and you get an exact copy of the section from above. If you do not want to do that because there are no similarities in our case, let's delete it again. Click here, create a new section. So there's one basic setting that we want to make sure we have on all sections, and that is the padding. Because we all want to make sure all the sections have the same amount of padding, which creates a consistent design experience. So we click here, Advanced, EM, and add a value of 5. Now you see there's more spacing added. Now add a headline and the text widget, and quickly change the font style here. So you want this to be an H2. A website should always have one H1, which is like the main headline, and have an H2, H3, and so on for the main content areas on your site. So this one is called services. And click now on style, text color, and choose secondary. Nice, looks good. Do the same for the lead text. Click on style, typography, and select lead text. And body color, select secondary, so it has the same color as the headline. Now let's add the text, which is we provide services in all major areas. Right, so we created now the heading plus the lead text. And what follows now is we need to add 2 columns in here. But how can you do that? Because if you clone this column, you have one right next to it, but we want to have additional columns at the bottom. Elementor has a nice feature to do that. Click delete again on this column, and on widgets choose the inner section, and the inner section put it below the text widget, and you can now see there's a section created within the section. This is important to understand. Every time you want to create like a layout like this one, where you have like a lead text, a headline, and then you have multiple columns, you need to work with inner sections. Again, the first column, let's add a little bit of content, create a heading and a text. And we need also the button. Nice. And change the heading to content marketing. Now the style is wrong. We click on styling. Text color should be text. And the typography is here. We have something called content headline. And also here, we just take a look if it's okay. Typography is body text, that is right. And also the text color is text, that is also right. Now let's style our first column. You select the column. And first thing we want to do is play around with the value for margin and padding. So on padding, let's try 1. It's still very near at the border, the start of the widget. We want to increase that to 2 EM. And also maybe add a little bit of outside spacing. Let's put 1 EM here. It looks much better now. Also, we want to see how it looks if there are multiple columns instead of just this dummy column. So let's click delete here and click duplicate. So we have now these 2 styled columns. One thing we want to add now is a red border, but only on the left side. On column section, on edit column, you click on style. Then you have this border here, border section, and you click on solid and press this link values together. You do unselect it. And on the left, let's say a border of 2. And again, choose our global color, accent color. Nice, looks good, looks good. So now I could manually do all the same again here, but no, I don't want to do that. I click here, copy, and paste style. Now that looks much better. Cool. So what about the other 2 items? So first add here, this service is called social media. And now what we do is we copy this section. So we click duplicate. Now we have again 2 more columns, video production and consulting. Nice. So as you have seen in this lesson, duplicate content, duplicate section is a powerful feature, but of course also the copy style feature, which we will use very often. That makes it easy for you to create a consistent design. So if I now start changing again something here, I can again do a copy and do a paste again on the columns. So I would also try to figure out their design for one specific widget or column or area, and then create the other ones. That way you will save a lot of clicks. Also, there's a powerful feature we will later explore, which is called save as template. So you could also save like a section like this one as a template. And if you create a new page in Elementor, you can load this template instead of like copying and pasting styles all over again. But this is a very powerful feature that we will explore later on in the course. Now for the column, again selected, we want to take a look at some of the advanced features, like for styling. You remember from one of the previous lessons that you can style the background for a section. You have similar features also for the column level. So also on column, you could set a background color, which doesn't make sense here, just to showcase it. And you could also add a gradient. Again, nothing I would like to do now, but I want to showcase it to you. And you could also have a background image that slides through. Also just for demo purposes. You could also like create a column where you then have the text on top. If you do that, you could also explore some of the effect features like fade in, slide right, slide left, etc. Play around with the timing. But of course, as said, we don't want to do it. Again, let's use the powerful history feature of Elementor. No. Yes, that looks like the beginning of the editing. One thing I want to explore with you is there's this effect with a border that you can have, and it's hidden under border settings and box shadow is it called. If you click it, you will immediately see that there's a border appearing, and you can have it for normal or hover. We only want to use it for hover, but not to be displayed at all times. So click this icon back to default, select hover, and click box shadow. Now you can see here that you can select the color. Note that here is no world symbol present. So these are these tiny little things you have to notice in Elementor. While it got much easier to create a consistent design experience, here you have now the option to select the color on widget level and not choose one of your global colors. Anyway, we will select something dark now. And as you can see, when I'm hovering, let's create here the blur. It needs to be like, put it to a high value just for demo purposes. Content marketing. If I'm hovering over it with the mouse, it creates this effect. It's of course too strong, so let's reduce it to just 5. Yeah, looks better. This is something you could play around with. I would even reduce it to just 3. It's not that strong. Maybe 2. Yeah. And of course you have more settings that you can take a look at. But basically this border settings is something that you have on column level, on section level. You will see it at multiple areas when working in Elementor. Now we also have to change the button here. Learn more. Yeah, I have to do this now for all buttons because I haven't done it before copying it. But what I could also do is now delete the button, delete it here, and delete it here. Whatever way you prefer, click duplicate and drag it over, again duplicate and drag it over, and once more duplicate and drag it over. Later in the course we will create a specific services page and we'll link the button to it. To finish the services section, we also want to add a shape divider at the bottom. But first, click the section, and for the background color, choose primary. Just to see how it would look, you can also check secondary, text, or accent. But what we want to do is primary, which is really just a white, nearly white, but not quite white. Now add the shape divider at the bottom and add again the waves. So you can see here that we have these waves, and reduce the height a bit. It looks good as it is. And also again move up to the hero section, because we want to have matching colors between the shape divider at the bottom and the second section. Now select here, styling, and shape divider at the bottom, and now you have a color option here, and also select the primary. Now there is no color difference between the shape divider up here and the services section. A quick demo, what I just did, because this is also important to understand. Let's choose, just for demo purposes, the secondary. Now I have this color here, and for background color I could choose here now also text or secondary. Now I have matching colors. Let's put it back to primary. And also for the shape divider at the hero section, again bottom, primary. So we have matching colors here. I just quickly switched to a more a stronger color that you can see it, because maybe during the screen recording you don't see that I have set the same color values here. And now we are finished with our services section, and we move on to the next one.